Myanmar facing major challenges 3 weeks after a magnitude 7.7 earthquake killed more than 3,700 people. International workers are trying to deliver aid, but fighting continues between the military and pro-democracy forces despite a ceasefire. NHK heard from people surviving in hard-hit areas.
This footage shows the situation in a town at the epicenter. A man who lives there shot it for us Friday morning. People are living in tents, still surrounded by rubble. The man who shot the video says the quake destroyed 90% of buildings, including his home. The man had an unstable internet connection, but managed to tell us how he and his neighbors are living. We're concealing his identity for his protection.
We've been sleeping outside because there are tremors every day. There have been no recovery efforts for 4 or 5 days. We've had massive destruction in Zagaing, but only about 10% of the demolition has taken place. There are not enough people or supplies.
Over the past week, a local NGO has delivered mosquito nets, mats, and tents. And the World Food Program delivered enough rice, oil, and beans to last 2 weeks. Smartphones are a lifeline, but the electricity supply is unstable. So residents are charging from a generator. They've used funds donated by other overseas supporters to buy kitchenware and water pumps. They've given some to the local hospital.
Supporters stopped coming with donations. We're being ignored. People who appear to be pro-democracy forces are in this region, so the military won't do anything for us. All the military does is launch airstrikes and kill people. I don't know what's going to happen or where to make a start.
Myanmar has been observing a holiday since Sunday for its traditional New Year. But people are suffering airstrikes and other attacks almost every day. This woman lives in a village in the Mandalay region where air raids have killed 2 people. She says her house was destroyed, but she, her husband, and a sister who'd suffered a stroke survived by sheltering inside the house. We're keeping her anonymous for her protection.
We heard a fighter jet, so I wrapped my sister in a thick quilt, and my husband and I got under the bed. We heard bombing to the north, so we stayed where we were. Then we heard a fighter overhead, and bombs came down. One hit the house. Another landed outside at the same time.
The woman and her husband and sister are now staying with relatives in another village. She goes back to their destroyed home every day to search for anything she can still use. The woman is a tailor, so one thing she salvaged is a sewing machine. But the foot pedal is broken.
I brought it because I thought I could make a living here if I could fix it.
Her husband used to work in construction. He can't continue because he lost his hearing in the airstrike. The woman is now the only one who can support the family.
I wish the international community would help us. It's not just my family that's struggling. Everyone in this village is anxious and scared. We don't know when we might die.
NHK World's Yamaka Michitaka has been on the ground in Mandalay. He spoke earlier with my colleagues Yamasawa Rina and Yamaguchi Hiroaki from our bureau in Bangkok.
So Michitaka, you were near Mandalay at the time of the quake. What can you tell us about the problems people face over the past 3 weeks?
As we heard, there are still tremors. Local authorities have reported at least 140 aftershocks. Many hospitals are damaged, so keeping survivors healthy is a challenge. One big concern is the health of pregnant women and the conditions in which they are giving birth and looking after their babies. Also, a representative of the UN Development Program told me there is an urgent need for care for children who had to leave their homes or lost family members.
Mental trauma is immense, and we're seeing this very readily here. So the fear is really prevalent. Children are obviously extremely scared.
I also spoke to the head of a Japanese medical team working in Mandalay. He is concerned about the effects of heat. The temperature reaches about 40 degrees Celsius every day.
There are lots of mosquitoes. This is common in subtropical countries. So of course there's malaria and dengue fever, and people are living outside in places like camps.
Michitaka, besides the airstrikes, is anything else holding aid up?
An aid group working in the country told me the military does not let vehicles carrying relief supplies through checkpoints in the Zagain region. Soldiers order workers to unload all the supplies, then confiscate them, and pro-democracy forces cannot easily deliver medicines or other supplies because they cannot enter Zagain without military permission.
So the temporary ceasefire has not stopped the fighting. So what's the outlook?
There's no prospect that the fighting will stop. The military has been under economic sanctions from the US and Europe since it took power in 2021. It's internationally isolated. But since the earthquake, it's taken the unusual step of appealing for help from abroad. It seems the junta is using the situation to try to legitimize its rule and move back toward ASEAN and the rest of the international community. Pro-democracy forces are accusing the junta of spreading propaganda to try to justify the coup. They held an online meeting on Friday with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim, who currently chairs ASEAN. On Thursday, Anwar held talks in Bangkok with Myanmar's top military official, General Min Aung Hlaing. We will see whether these talks lead to some sort of breakthrough, so both sides pause their fighting and give people access to the help they need.